Um, in July, I'm gonna keep flipping from one thing to the other, so please bear with me. And this podcast is gonna be in three sections, so please listen to all of them and enjoy all the content. Anyway, yeah. Um, in July, I'm going to be climbing Snowdon with help of a few friends. Um, James Gilligan is putting it all together. He does outdoor activities with disabled people. If you don't already know, I'm in a wheelchair and I can't see properly. And he's got his wife and a few other people to help. We're hiring a wheelchair for 2 weeks. It's not going to take 2 weeks. It's going to take a day to climb up and to come back down. And so this is going to be the end of June, or one of the first 2 weeks at the beginning of July. And hopefully, I said to James the other day, we need to find out by the middle of May, when this is going to be, so I can cancel all the things that I've pre-booked for the weeks that we're not doing it. So then we can do it on the week that we are doing it. And it's going to be great. But yeah, that's something I'm going to mention most times in the next few podcasts, probably. It is for charity. It's for Remap that I help fundraise for. Remap make gadgets for disabled or older people to make their lives easier. And also mitochondria awareness. I have mitochondria, and not many people know what mitochondria is. So to get the word out there a bit more about mitochondria is that one of the main aims of the climb. So anyway, going on from that, what I was going to talk to you today was one of my skiing trips, one of my many skiing trips. The third year I went with DSUK skiing, the second time on my own, I went to Andora, and I had to go the day before down to London, as I'm doing in a few weeks' time, because I'm going to Andorra again for the second time. And I met up with a friend that I made on the previous trip, who was one of the helpers on that trip, Amy, and we went for something to eat, and then Amy helped and put me onto the Thames Link, and then I got to my hotel and stayed overnight, and then early hours of the morning, I met up with the group, and we went over to Andorra. And the one thing I remember from that skiing trip, it was a really long coach journey. We had a 2 hour coach lift, and then we stopped for something to eat, and the driver disappeared for about an hour. And then he came back, and we had about another 2 hours journey, and then we got to resort. And then on the first morning, I fell. I pulled a handrail off the side of the wall, and I skied that morning, but I was told later that I shouldn't have done. But I managed to ski that day, and it was a very busy hotel in Andorra. I remember that about it. As I say, it's the only other time I've been to Andorra was that year, and then I'm going in a couple of weeks. And I skied. I always like to ski in the morning because with mitochondria you have the best energy you've got in the morning, and in the afternoon I feel a bit drained, a bit fatigued, a bit worn out. So I even, I mean, this was a few years ago, and even back then, more so now, I do feel more tired later on in the day. So yeah, so I liked skiing in the morning most days, and they knew this, and they came to me one afternoon and said we need you to ski later in the day, and I'm like, oh no, I don't know if I can do that. And I thought, well, I'll take one for the team, but and I got a phone call early on the following morning saying, do you want to ski? You're going to be with a different instructor. But I skied in the morning, and one thing I don't like on these holidays is skiing with a different instructor. I like to stick with the same instructor, and it just proved because I skied with a different instructor. I was skiing with Scott most of the week, and then I skied with Willie on this particular day, and it kind of went. Pete told me it was like one step forward, two steps back. And then we went out for a drink later that night, and I was chatting to Scott, telling him what had been going wrong and what wasn't happening, and Scott was like, don't worry, I mean, this was right near the end of the holiday as well, and Scott was like, don't worry, we'll get you sorted tomorrow. And I mean, even I had helpers with me that day that had been helping earlier in the week. When you go on a DSUK holiday, you have so many skiing instructors and so many helpers, and you have a couple of helpers that help in the hotel and help on the ski slopes. So some of those helpers had helped with me during the earlier part of the week. And so yeah, so they knew what I could and couldn't do, and it was it was good to get back on. And when I go skiing, I use a sit ski called a Bionique, and you're quite low down to the ground, which lower than other sit skis. So yeah, so that was. I'll tell you more about this in the next part of this podcast, because we'll be coming to a abrupt end in 1 minute. You can hear more about my adventures in Andora. Just bear with me one moment. I'm looking for the stop button because I can't see where it is. Oh, there we go. So yeah, so please tune in to the second part of my adventures in Andora. So hopefully I'll see you all in a few minutes. Goodbye.